Thanks. An arrest in Benton County is raising new concerns about how artificial intelligence is being used online, especially when it comes to children. 5 News reporter Taylor Howard joining us in the studio now to explain how experts say this technology is evolving faster than the law. Taylor?
Yeah, people are finding new ways every day to misuse artificial intelligence, and now it's raising concerns for parents.
It's getting harder and harder to kind of identify, what is real versus what is AI created.
A Benton County case highlighting a growing concern. People using artificial intelligence to create sexually explicit images from photos posted online. Authorities say a man was arrested, accused of using AI to manipulate images of underage individuals.
It's bad actors, though, who are using these tools to create something evil from it.
Prosecutors say these tools can turn an ordinary photo into something explicit without the person even knowing. For parents, that reality is hard to ignore.
I especially with kids or myself, I just don't know where the data's going. I don't really, I like sharing with folks, but how many friends are really my friends on social media?
Even with privacy settings in place, experts say there's so much uncertainty about who can access what's shared online.
It's kind of like this push-pull of being so proud of my family too and wanting to share things because every day I'm in disbelief that I have these beautiful children.
Prosecutors say as the technology advances, the risks are only growing.
It is something that we're going to have to continue to work on, working with our law enforcement partners in dealing with tools on how to identify these things and working with the General Assembly to, one, identify the holes in the law, make sure that we're covering it, and make sure we hold parties accountable for violating the law.
Because once those images are out there, there's no taking them back.
We want to also make sure that if those things are being shared into the dark sides of the web, that we also do what we can to bring those things in, because once they spread quick, and it's sometimes really hard to bring those things back.
Sexton says staying informed is one of the best ways parents can protect their children. I was also told about a Parents' Night Out event hosted by Benton County Sheriff Department in the fall, which is designed to help families better understand the risks of technology. He says staying informed and having open conversations with your kids is key. Taylor Howard, 5 News.
All right, Taylor, thanks. Meanwhile, a man was arrested on CSAM charges by state troopers today in Baxter County. 61-year-old Michael Wasmer now faces 49 felony charges. State troopers searched Wasmer's house and found more child sex abuse material, along with some drugs, 50 guns, and a pipe bomb. State police say Bentonville's bomb squad was called in to help control the and to assist in a controlled detonation. Wasmer will likely face additional drug and weapons charges. He was booked into the Baxter County Detention Center on a $400,000 bond, is still in custody tonight. The man facing murder charges while running for Lonoke County Sheriff had another day in court. In case you don't know, Aaron Spencer is accused of killing a man who sexually abused his daughter. Spencer's defense argued today action should be taken because Lonoke County law enforcement lost key evidence, an SD card inside a dash cam that shows the sexual crimes with Spencer's daughter. The defense wants it because they think it would show the abuser did not stop and let Spencer's daughter go that night despite having multiple opportunities. The judge agreed with the defense.
He also took up the destruction of evidence claim. I was very happy to hear him say that he has followed the tests under the law and that he has questions remaining and that he's going to give us an opportunity to decide how to address those.
The defense now has until Friday next week to decide if they'd like to pursue the destruction of evidence claim through filings or another in-person hearing. The Arkansas State Supreme Court has upheld the murder conviction of a Bella Vista man. Mauricio Torres was appealing his conviction from a 2015 case that centered around the death of his 6-year-old son. Torres was found guilty of capital murder during a third trial and was given a life prison term. He argued comments from a medical examiner in the trial were enough for a mistrial, but the court disagreed and said the conviction was just, and ultimately the comments did not impact justice in this case. A day after Arkansas's budget was signed into law, a special session is now called and lawmakers will work to lower the state income tax. Governor called the session and says lawmakers will reconvene again on Monday. She She says the session is solely focusing on lowering the tax rate down to 0.2% to 3.7%. Corporate tax rates would also be cut the same amount down to 4.1%. If passed, it would be the third rate cut since Sanders took office. Bikers from all over the area will gather by the thousands in downtown Fort Smith this weekend for the 11th annual Steel Horse Rally. With more motorcycles on the road, drivers are being urged to stay alert and to stay aware. Police are issuing extra caution a day after a Fayetteville police motorcycle officer was injured in a crash. With bikers expected to come and go from all over, police say drivers need to watch for blind spots.
You're piloting a several thousand-pound metal projectile down the roadway. You need to be cognizant of what's around you. Be aware of motorcycles and take that extra second or two before making lane changes or turns. And if you're operating a motorcycle, you need to be aware that sometimes they can't see you.
By the way, Garrison Avenue will be shut down all weekend to protect these visiting bikers during Steel Horse Rally. The rally kicks off tomorrow and ends late Saturday night. An expansion project that began last year at Mercy Fort Smith is right on track. In fact, the funding goal for the first phase of that project has been reached. It couldn't come at a better time. Phase 1 of the expansion actually began last year. It's a $41 million expansion to help consolidate most cancer treatment services into one main location.
The biggest thing the patients will notice is that they have one entry point. So they'll be able to come into one welcoming environment for all their cancer treatments and all of the activities with their physicians, whether it's medical oncology, radiation oncology, or support services for cancer-related treatments.
Amy Four is Vice President of Patient Services at Mercy. She says it also means more doctors on staff.
We're adding providers, so in both our medical oncology and radiation oncology practices, we're growing the number of physicians and advanced practitioners that will be available to treat patients.
For a long time, we've known there was a gap in our ability in this region to serve the number of cancer patients that we have adequately. That means that there are a couple of thousand patients every year that are having to leave our region to get the care that they need.
Patrick Pendleton is the executive director of the Mercy Health Foundation. They're the ones charged with raising money for these projects.
Most everyone has some experience with cancer, unfortunately. When you talk about the need for providing better access to quality cancer care, folks get it.
And while the expansion started a year ago, it comes at a very good time. Baptist Fort Smith announced on Wednesday it's closing its oncology services. Mercy CEO Ryan Gehrig told me a few weeks ago it did speed up his process.
We began scenario planning months ago, and the decision that was made across town definitely accelerated our need to respond and grow. And we cannot afford to lose some really talented physicians and a very committed workforce to this community, and that's what we're working to keep.
Pendleton is quick to point out there is plenty left to do.
We have a phase 2 and 3, and more on the books or in the works, you might say. A lot of growth going on, and it's something that our region truly needs and deserves. That entire project, by the way, is supposed to be finished by July of next year.